Dan sebelum kita masuk ke sesi dengan Dr. Vanessa dan Ibu Nur Hikmah, saya mengundang Ibu Agung Putri Astrid dari staf khusus Menteri Kementerian Pemberdayaan Perempuan dan Perlindungan Anak untuk menyampaikan pesan singkat, kata sambutan singkat, dan respons dari presentasi anak-anak. Silakan Ibu Agung Putri.
Baik, terima kasih Cecilia. Ini bahasa Indonesia apa bahasa Inggris ini Cecilia?
Bahasa Inggris, bahasa Indonesia boleh, Ibu.
Saya menghormati forumnya yang dibuat sama Ibu Cecilia ini. Oke, buat anak-anak Bright School, congratulations for your presentation. It's very, very good presentation. You are doing preparation as very, very good. And I'm just surprised that how skillful you use the social media to collect information and knowledge, and then made it up to the very systematic presentation. So you are doing well, and you are very aware about the dangers of COVID by learning the situations in other country. We also learning how they deal with COVID. And thank you for being at home and being disciplined. It's very, very important. I am in my office at the Ministry of Women Empowerment and Child Protections. We particularly give a concern to the children who got infected by the virus. The first thing that we are concerned is if the children got infected, or if the parents got infected, how the children could get who will take care of the children. That is the first questions that we have to consider. So please be healthy, because if your parents got sick, who will take care of you? Or if you are sick, how can you deal with being isolated? Being isolated is a very, very frustrating situation. So being healthy is very, very important. So it is better stay at home to keep distance from being infected by virus, rather than you are infected and then you got isolated. It's very so. My advice is don't be so lonely. And I found that two students here finally find the new interesting thing while during at home. So find interesting thing you can do at home. For example, you can share your presentations to your cousin or to your friends, how you know about other country. If you learn about China, you tell them. So you don't only share your knowledge with Cecilia, but also with your family, with your friends, that you know about China, that you know about South Korea, you know about New Zealand. I think not many children know about the situations in other countries. I think that is the thing that my impressions about you, and I hope we are all always in a good conditions and stay healthy. Thank you, Cecilia.
Thank you so much, Ibu, for the advice for the children and to all of us who's the audience. Terima kasih, Bu, dukungannya dan support. Hati-hati di jalan ya. Iya, Ibu. Terima kasih banyak, Ibu.
Terima kasih.
Nah, sekarang tiba saatnya kita akan memasuki sesi bersama Dr. Vanessa dan juga Ibu Nur Hikmah. Nah, sekarang kita kesempatan untuk ada sharing dari Ibu Nur Hikmah ini. Gimana? Karena Ibu Nur Hikmah, she got infected with the COVID-19, so she wants to share what's the experience of being infected, what's the experience being isolated, and how you deal with the COVID-19 case. Silakan Ibu Nur Hikmah.
Baik, halo, good afternoon everyone. Thank you so much for the presentation. I appreciate, saya bangga sekali dengan presentasi anak-anak BRINS, keren banget. Dan kalau mendengarkan presentasi dari anak-anak BRINS itu kita jadi lebih optimis bahwa pandemi itu akan segera berlalu ya. Seperti ada di New Zealand, Korea, bahkan di China ada rapid gratis, dan negara-negara lainnya. Ini sangat luar biasa. Dan saya Nur Hikmah, pasien COVID, dan saya statusnya sebetulnya masih positif COVID-19. Jadi kalau offline pasti tidak memungkinkan. Untungnya kita bertemu secara online. Ya, saya ingin berbagi pengalaman saya tentang apa yang harus kita lakukan untuk ketika kita mendapatkan gejala sakit yang mengarah pada COVID. Karena tentu kita tidak tahu ya apa sih COVID itu, gejalanya apa, sampai benar-benar kita merasakan dan divonis kalau kita itu memang mendapatkan virus COVID dalam tubuh kita. Jadi waktu pertama kali saya awalnya suami saya demam, sakit, batuk, agak sedikit sesak nafas, lemas. Saya baru sadar ini sepertinya kok kayak virus corona ya, tapi ini ada azan. Tapi saya masih mengira-ngira benar nggak virus corona, karena selama ini kan kita melihat virus corona itu seperti mitos yang jauh antara ada dan tiada. Jadi apalagi saat kita sudah masuk new normal. Dulu kalau waktu bulan-bulan pertama tentu kita sangat hati-hati ya, tidak melakukan WFH, menjaga jarak, itu betul-betul ketat. Tapi ketika kita masuk new normal itu sepertinya virus corona, apalagi di lingkungan saya itu sepertinya sudah tidak ada. Orang sudah beraktivitas seperti biasa, berkerumun, bahkan beberapa yang tidak memakai masker. Jadi ketika kita mendapatkan gejala-gejala yang mengarah ke virus corona, saat itu saya langsung nanya ke beberapa call center info yang tersedia, misalnya ke 119, ke Satgas COVID, dan itu ternyata informasi untuk mendapatkan kepastian penanganan swab gratis dan lain sebagainya itu tidak mudah didapat. Jadi ketika saya tanya 119, bagaimanakah saya mendapatkan swab gratis? Apakah ada kebijakan untuk melakukan swab gratis? Karena kita tahu sendiri harga swab itu mahal sekali. Bahkan ada yang 2 juta sampai 1.900.000, 1.700.000, walaupun sekarang pemerintah sudah menetapkan maksimal PCR swab itu 900.000. Tapi itu kan juga masih
mahal ya.
Ya, masih sangat mahal untuk bisa kita akses. Nah, ketika saya tanya ke 119 itu, operatornya malah mengatakan bahwa mereka belum mendapatkan informasi tentang swab gratis itu. Nah, kemudian saya tanya ke Satgas COVID. Kebetulan saya punya teman anggota dewan yang memberikan koordinator Satgas COVID ke Depok. Jadi top Satgas COVID-nya itu. Saya WA, ternyata tidak direspon. Ekspektasi kita kan pasti, apalagi kita sebagai penyintas ya, ingin direspon cepat, dapat tanggapan dari pemerintah secara cepat, apalagi terkait dengan COVID yang ini merupakan pandemik yang luar biasa dan mendapatkan perhatian dunia, ternyata itu tidak direspon. Jadi ketika suami saya itu sudah lemas, batuk, sesak nafas, saya langsung masukkan ke klinik, nggak tidak sembuh. Pagi, siang saya langsung masuk ke UGD. Nah, ternyata kawan-kawan, adik-adik sekalian, ketika kita masuk ke IGD, kita jangan khawatir ketika gejala-gejala COVID itu ada dalam tubuh kita. Kenapa? Karena semua biaya untuk pasien COVID itu ditanggung oleh pemerintah. Jadi jangan khawatir, takut, wah saya nggak punya uang, saya malas ke rumah sakit, ada kekhawatiran terkait biaya, itu abaikan. Karena untuk COVID itu semua ditanggung oleh pemerintah. Dan waktu itu saya udah masuk ke mitra keluarga. Awalnya saya sempat berpikir, aduh mitra keluarga kan tidak bisa, beberapa tidak tercover BPJS, berapa sih biayanya, udah kalkulasi mikir gitu kan. Tapi kemudian sampai sempat berdebat, ini nggak bisa pakai BPJS. Ya, saya akan bayar semuanya, kalaupun tidak pakai BPJS. Akhirnya setelah pemeriksaan, rongsen paru dan segala macam, rapid test betul-betul reaktif, positif reaktif, kemudian rongsen paru ada COVID, pihak rumah sakit langsung hubungi saya bahwa ini terkena COVID dan semua biaya ditanggung oleh rumah sakit lewat BPJS atau lewat dana COVID. Kemudian minta isolasi mandiri dan saya pulang. Nah, ketika apa yang harus kita lakukan kemudian? Oke, satu pasien sudah kita selamatkan lah masuk isolasi rumah sakit. Bagaimana dengan saya dan anak? Hal yang paling bisa kita lakukan adalah pertama, adik-adik, kawan-kawan sekalian harus melaporkan kejadian yang kita alami, yang dirahasiakan, itu ke RT ya. Karena sebetulnya dalam kondisi COVID ini peran RT itu sangat penting. Jadi di kelurahan kami RT-nya memang sudah punya ada satgas COVID. Jadi RT, satgas COVID, kader PKK, semua itu punya tugas untuk menyampaikan informasi tentang COVID, mengedukasi warga untuk pencegahan, isolasi mandiri, terus bahkan tetangga saya yang misalnya sudah terkena COVID kemudian pulang itu diberikan sporting tidak ada stigma. Kan dulu kan kalau ada yang COVID, COVID ini kayaknya kayak kutukan gitu loh, penyakit yang hina dan lain sebagainya. Orang takut kalau dicap COVID, bahkan kan banyak sekali yang meninggal, jenazahnya tidak diterima, tidak boleh dimakamkan di tempat tertentu kayak gitu. Jadi memang stigma-stigma buruk terhadap ODP, PDP yang positif COVID itu kan sering terjadi ya. Dan itu pun karena sensitivitas kita pun kadang kita sebagai penderita COVID merasa nanti kalau orang menjaga jarak segala macam dia agak-agak sensitif. Memang padahal itu kelakuannya yang betul. Jadi memang kawan-kawan RT itu punya tugas itu agar tidak ada stigma juga. Selain itu juga di RT itu memfasilitasi semua perangkat untuk pencegahan penularan COVID. Jadi ketika ada warga yang terkena COVID, RT harus minta warga tersebut untuk isolasi mandiri secara ketat. Nah, itu tidak sekedar himbauan, karena apa? Karena RT, RW, dan masyarakat lingkungan sekitar itu di kami akan mensuplai logistik dari warga yang melakukan isolasi mandiri. Jadi RT juga mendorong partisipasi warga untuk pemenuhan logistik bagi warga yang isolasi mandiri di rumah. Juga menggalang donasi untuk mendukung keluarga yang melakukan isolasi mandiri. RT juga kemudian melakukan koordinasi dengan lurah, dengan puskesmas, kalau dalam kasus saya ya, terus membantu warga yang kurang mampu, sakit, untuk penyediaan misalnya ambulan penjemputan ke rumah sakit yang dirujuk. Jadi memang tugas RT itu memang sangat besar dalam kondisi COVID saat ini. Nah, sebetulnya teman-teman kita juga tidak boleh khawatir untuk isolasi mandiri di rumah, karena sebetulnya saya tidak menyarankan untuk pasien COVID isolasi mandiri di rumah ya. Kalau bisa, kawan-kawan langsung ketika positif COVID, hubungi puskesmas. Puskesmas pasti akan memberikan rujukan untuk isolasi mandiri di rumah sakit di RSUD. Contoh kasus saya lah ya, ketika saya lapor RT, pihak kepala puskesmas Cipayung langsung telepon kepada saya untuk menanyakan keluhan, menanyakan apa saja sih yang saya rasakan, kemudian mereka memberikan resep obat, kemudian obat dikirim lewat Satgas COVID ke rumah. Jadi kita tidak boleh keluar rumah sama sekali. Semua kebutuhan makan, logistik, obat, semua diantar ke rumah. Jadi dicantelin di depan rumah, kemudian kita baru keluar. Betul-betul kita tidak keluar dari rumah kita. Nah, kemudian kalau misalnya 3 hari mereka akan telepon lagi, apa keluhannya? Kalau saya masih batuk dok kemarin. Oke ibu, saya akan kirim ambulan, ibu harus isolasi di rumah sakit. Tapi karena banyak pertimbangan pasti, karena misalnya saya harus kerja, meeting, dan lain sebagainya, saya tetap minta isolasi di rumah. Nah, ketika kita isolasi di rumah, pastikan ada dokter yang memantau kesehatan kita. Dokter puskesmas, kemudian rajin minum obat yang disarankan, berjemur, minum vitamin, kemudian olahraga kecil, stretching di rumah ya, itu penting sekali untuk menjaga stamina kita. Dan jangan lupa, sebetulnya ini yang agak terlambat juga saya lakukan. Kita harus ronsen paru kita. Jadi nanti pihak puskesmas akan memberikan rujukan ronsen untuk paru, cek darah untuk kita bisa melakukan pemeriksaan lebih lanjut terhadap diri kita. Dan sekali lagi semuanya gratis. Jadi kawan-kawan tidak boleh khawatir. Nah, apa sih kewajiban kita sebagai pasien COVID? Kewajiban kita yang paling utama adalah 1, isolasi secara ketat di rumah agar kita tidak menular. Yang kedua, kita menghubungi orang yang pernah berkontak dengan kita. Jadi ketika saya divonis bahwa saya COVID positif menderita COVID, yang saya lakukan adalah saya menghubungi teman-teman yang dalam seminggu itu berkontak dengan saya. Kekhawatirannya apa? Mereka akan terpapar. Jadi 2 hari lah sebelum saya di hasil swab keluar, saya masih mengadakan rapat di kantor. Jadi saya masih berhubungan dengan orang-orang. Memang pakai masker, ketat pakai masker, pakai face shield, kadang saya pakai sarung tangan, tapi saya juga nggak tahu ini virus itu masuknya lewat mana. Mungkin nanti dokter bisa menjelaskan, karena perasaan saya sudah memenuhi protokol kesehatan secara ketat ketika saya keluar rumah. Selalu ditanya, kamu dapat dari mana? Saya juga nggak tahu saya itu dapat dari mana. Nah, setelah saya hubungin teman-teman saya, apa yang harus dilakukan oleh kawan-kawan saya yang berhubungan dengan saya, mereka akan menghubungi puskesmas terdekat untuk mendapatkan swab gratis. Sekali lagi, ternyata akses swab gratis itu bisa kita dapatkan. Caranya adalah bahwa kita datang ke puskesmas, kita informasikan pihak puskesmas bahwa kita berkontak langsung dengan pasien COVID dan hasil swab saya dibawa oleh kawan-kawan saya dan teman-teman saya langsung mendapatkan swab gratis. Dan hasilnya memang ada satu kawan saya, satu keluarga bahkan itu terkena positif COVID juga. Jadi entah mungkin saya yang menjadi penyebabnya atau bukan, saya nggak tahu, tapi itu kawan saya yang saya temui langsung, ada yang positif 3 orang, yang negatif 2 orang, yang 2 tidak mau diswab, takut katanya. Saya nggak mau Mbak, saya takut dan lain sebagainya. Saya tidak bisa memaksakan. Saya hanya berharap dia bisa isolasi mandiri karena satu kawan saya yang positif COVID, dia itu OTG. Jadi memang orang tanpa gejala, dia tidak merasakan batuk, dia tidak merasakan sesak nafas, sehat sentosa, dia merasakan saya sehat sentosa gitu. Tapi begitu di hasil swab keluar dia positif. Kekhawatiran orang-orang seperti ini, OTG seperti ini, justru yang menyebarkan virus COVID. Karena dia tidak tahu kan bahwa dia harus isolasi dan dia penderita COVID kalau dia tidak diswab. Nah, kalau kondisinya seperti ini terus, saya berpikir sampai kapan gitu loh, sampai kapan pandemik ini akan berakhir. Kalau kemudian orang-orang OTG itu masih berkeliaran. Satu kawan saya itu juga bilang, saya isolasi mandiri kok Mbak, tapi saya masih melakukan olahraga. Olahraganya apa ya? Aku tanya sama kawanku. Saya masih lari sore. Aduh, aku bilang, kamu lari, nafas kamu kemana-mana, ada penjual cilok kamu beli, aduh udah nggak tahu lagi itu berapa orang yang akan kemudian terpapar. Saya bilang olahraga di rumah. Kalau isolasi mandiri kalau tidak mau ke rumah sakit, betul-betul harus kita sendiri yang menjaga ya agar betul-betul kita disiplin. Kasihan orang luar. Saya sampai bilang dosa loh kita kalau menularin orang kalau kita tahu bahwa kita itu positif COVID dan masih berkeliaran. Saya menyarankan itu pada kawan-kawan saya yang berkontak dan dinyatakan positif. Alhamdulillah kawan-kawan saya mau isolasi di rumah sakit. Walaupun saya sendiri agak bandel ya, nggak ke rumah sakit, tetap di rumah, tapi saya disiplin karena memang lingkungan kami itu mendukung sekali untuk kita bisa isolasi di rumah. Jadi di solidaritas di tingkat RT itu ada lumbung logistik di RT kami untuk penderita COVID. Jadi RT itu membuat alur pengorganisasian pemenuhan logistik bagi warga yang melakukan isolasi mandiri di rumah dan menggalang donasi untuk mendukung keluarga yang melakukan isolasi mandiri itu. Jadi ketika misalnya kebetulan di RT kami itu ada 3 atau 4 rumah yang kena COVID. Jadi waktu itu ada yang sudah sembuh, ada yang masih dalam proses, dan keluarga saya juga dalam proses penyembuhan gitu-gitu. Dalam 14 hari itu sudah dijadwal itu. Siapa makan malam, makan pagi, makan siang, itu ibu siapa, keluarga siapa gitu. Kemudian nanti ada yang ada logistik seperti beras, minyak, telur, dan lain sebagainya. Itu yang mungkin dapat dari bantuan bansos ya, bansos untuk COVID ya, saya nggak tahu, tapi itu dari RT itu dapat 2 kali saya dapat dalam masa itu 14 hari itu. Kemudian ada sembako juga yang kemudian dikelola. Jadi ketika kita divonis COVID, apa yang harus kita lakukan? Misalnya kalau RT saya lemah Mbak, nggak bisa diandalkan, bingung. Ada di kawan saya seperti itu. Jadi memang ketika saya tanya, ayo hubungin RT, Mbak saya itu sudah hubungin RT. Jadi masa sih mau nanya swab gratis aja udah kayak ngurus AJB ribetnya minta ampun kayak gitu. Kata kawan saya, AJB itu akte jual beli, kalau kita mau jual tanah atau jual bangunan kan pasti lapor ke RT. Itu ribetnya udah kayak gitu. Makanya saya langsung minta oke, abaikan RT, koordinasi dengan puskesmas tempat. Bagaimana caranya kita tahu nomor puskesmas? Google. Cek di Google nomor puskesmas, kita telepon, dan puskesmas biasanya akan lebih responsif untuk kasus COVID ini ketika RT tidak slow respon. Kemudian yang kedua, pastikan kita isolasi di rumah sakit, tapi kalau tidak bisa isolasi mandiri di rumah dengan ketat, mendapatkan obat dengan baik, dan dipantau oleh dokter setiap perkembangan kesehatan kita. Jadi ada dokter yang selalu berkoordinasi dengan kita. Biasanya di puskesmas itu memang ada divisi pemantauan pasien COVID di lingkungannya. Kalau saya itu sampai 2 orang tuh yang nelponin, ada Mbak Sinta, ada kepala puskesmasnya langsung. Itu untuk menanyakan, Ibu bagaimana hari ini, dan lain sebagainya. Obatnya perlu ditambah nggak Bu, dan lain sebagainya. Udah ronsen belum Bu? Ditanya secara menyeluruh ya. Kemudian swab pertama, terus swab kedua juga saya masih positif, dan dokter selalu menanyakan, Bu gimana kalau isolasi di rumah sakit, Bu udah ini. Jadi selalu pastikan saja bahwa kita mendapatkan dipantau oleh dokter. Jadi ingat ya bahwa ketika kita sebagai pasien COVID, kita tidak sendiri. Jangan merasa putus asa bahwa oh saya sangat menderita karena pasien COVID. Enggak. Ada jutaan orang yang menderita COVID, dan mereka banyak yang berhasil, yang menang, yang sembuh seperti sedia kala dalam melawan COVID. Kita juga tidak sendiri karena ada nakes, tenaga kesehatan, juru rawat, suster, ada dokter, ada tetangga kita, ada kawan-kawan dekat kita yang selalu memperhatikan kita, ada RT, ada Satgas COVID, ada puskesmas, ada rumah sakit yang sebetulnya mendampingi kita selama kita melakukan isolasi baik di rumah sakit maupun di rumah, dan memastikan bahwa kita itu sembuh dari COVID. Jadi pesan saya, jangan pernah berkecil hati, solidaritas itu nyata dan akan berlipat ganda. Terima kasih.
Aduh, terima kasih banyak Bu atas sharingnya. Jadi begitu penting ya kita untuk lebih peka sama diri kita dan lebih hati-hati, dan juga perlu lapor. Itu sangat penting ya. Dan juga jangan khawatir kalau semua itu gratis. Jadi kita nggak perlu berkecil hati. Terima kasih Ibu, terima kasih banyak. Dan untuk semua yang hadir, nanti kita akan ada sesi tanya-jawab. Jadi bisa ditulis pertanyaannya di chat section. Di kolom chat, nanti waktu sesi tanya-jawab kita akan minta tolong Ibu Nur Hikmah dan juga Dr. Feni Vanessa untuk membantu menjawab. Nah, sekarang kita sudah tahu dari sisi pasien, dan kita sangat penasaran juga bagaimana COVID-19 ini dari sisi dokter. Silahkan, Dr. Vanessa.
Halo.
Halo, dokter.
Hai, Cecilia. Kita mau question and answers mulai jam berapa ya, biar aku bikin tahu berapa menit?
Di jadwalnya sih
boleh kita follow.
3.30.
3.30, oke.
Ya.
Oke, mudah-mudahan sebelum itu.
Iya, oke. Terima kasih.
Hai, terima kasih Bu Nur Hikmah untuk sharingnya. Ya, thank you Cecilia buat waktunya untuk saya. Thank you Mrs. Debbie as the principal of Junior High School, Bright School, ya. Yeah, Bright School, okay. Firstly, I'm very honored to be able to join with all of you, so very great children. I mean, I'm really very touched and very amazed of how beautiful and wonderful each one of you kids have presented your presentation. I believe that you've worked very hard and did a very, very good research about every country. Even me, myself, personally, there are some things that I don't know. I mean about New Zealand, about Netherlands, and everything like that. I mean, every single one of the children have made their point of view, their own perspective, and that is brilliant. So bravo to everybody, okay? So I don't know what else I have to talk about right now, actually. I was very curious and excited to listen to all of you. Okay. So hello to all teachers. Thank you. I don't know if Ibu Agung Putri is still on or not, or maybe already.
Mungkin sudah itu, iya.
Okay. Okay, can everybody see my slides, Cecilia?
Yeah, dokter.
Okay, so this is just a very brief insight. I will try to make it very quick. So this is about me, and this is my picture here, over here, with all the face mask and everything. Okay, so the next slide is, this is the newest that I got about jumlah terpapar COVID-19 di Indonesia by updated in 15 October. Okay, so of course, if we see the meninggal part, it's scary, 12,000 and something. Tapi look at the sembuh part, okay? It's 270,000 more. So from what I heard from the children just now, they're very honest in explaining how they feel, and at last I see that they always have something very true, very positive from every situation that they face. So looking at that and seeing this, and I think these children are making us giving hope in every situation like this. It's getting better and better. The patients that are getting recovered are far more than those that are getting sick. Okay, so this is our hope. So this is starting my PowerPoint, so that makes us smile. Okay, and Ibu Nur, semangat. Yes, okay, yeah, our prayers with you, yeah. Now, this is a virus that we're talking about. So it's a respiratory tract virus. It comes in through our respiratory tract, from our nose, our mouth, and then goes inside our trachea and into the lungs. And it causes infection, and it will damage the tissues in all that tract from up to the lungs. But it can also damage other organs. Okay, so that's the point. It can damage other organs. Now, viruses are very many. Look at these. They're pretty. Even they're cute. They have like, what's that? That's why they say it's corona. They have this, what do you say, Cecilia?
Crown or spikes, yeah.
Yeah, okay. They're pretty, but they're mean. So there's lots of viruses. It's like measles, mumps, rubella. Maybe all of you children have heard of this, and you all have, your mommy gave vaccine when you were small. So the last is SARS, MERS, and the one that we're talking about now, the nCoV, the novel coronavirus. Okay, so this is the coronavirus. So it's complicated inside, but it's beautiful outside with all the crowns all over. But it's capsulated, and the point is here that it has something inside that makes it like uh, it's something like a lipid that if you wash your hands with soap, it could kill the coronavirus very thoroughly. So that's why it's better using soap, actually, if you can get soap wherever you are, than using alcohol 70%, okay? And everyone in Indonesia can afford to buy soap, even the soap that is not the liquid soap, just any soap, okay? Now, there are very many viruses, maybe around coronavirus, around 200 types, but only 7 types of them are human type. And from 7, 3 types that we know very right now is the MERS, the SARS, and the Wuhan coronavirus. Okay, that is first reported in Wuhan, China. That is, I believe, was by who? Albert about China. Yes.
Yes, Albert.
Yeah, I wrote it down. I was very impressed with them, by the way. Okay, now this is the coronavirus. They can, Ibu Nur asked, how could they infect people? By what? First, by droplet. Secondly, by close contact with infected patients, which we sometimes don't know who is infected, right? And third, by contaminated environments. So first, by droplet. Here we can see that the diameter of this virus is very, very, very ultra small, okay? So it's very small. So even if you just talk like, hi, without wearing a mask, then if that one is carrying the coronavirus inside, you could get infected. The scatter distance maximum is 2 meters. Well, thank God. They say 2 meters, but I'm not a very easy person to just believe everything. So I always, maybe I'll do 2 plus 2 meters. I think I'll do 2 plus 2 meters if I could. So maybe children, I know that you're smarter than me, how to manage that distance when you're with your friends. When we cough, we spit out 3,000 droplets, okay? When we cough. And when we sneeze, haching, then it's 40,000 droplets. And so you can imagine if somebody just sneezes next to you, well, if they don't use a mask, then I don't know. If you don't use a mask, then I don't know. So better both use masks, okay? And while we're talking, it's like coughing. Talking 5 minutes is 3,000 droplets. That's why when we watch TV and everything, they say, please don't make any meetings more than too long if we don't use mask or everything. Because it's like Ibu Nur said, well, we could just go somewhere and then we put off our mask because we want to drink something, and then somebody comes up to us, hi. Well, then we remember, oh no, 5 minutes without using anything. So, hi, okay, I'm gonna drink, okay, and then you cover up yourself again, okay? So 5 minutes, 3,000 droplets. And about close contact with infected patients, of course, by contaminated environments like doors or stair handles, if you touch something. So please, children, just try your best not to touch. But if you have to, it's okay. We have soap. So it doesn't mean that you have to be frightened everywhere you go. No, because God has given us a very, very good immune system, so you don't have to be scared, okay? And of course, by using cutlery or tableware, of course now, your mommy and daddy already knows that they will not take you to a place that you could have a buffet, right? So it's like, now you use just your own plate, you use your own food, like in a box and everything, every time you go somewhere. And gadgets, laptops and computers. Please do not let your friends come in to your room and just, hi, can I see that? Wait a minute. Do not touch my laptop. Do not touch my computer. Do not. Just wash your hands first. Or if you really, really need to, could you please take a bath? If you really, really need to be with me, could you please take a bath? I mean, really take a bath, take a shower and everything. Maybe for the children, tell your mommy and daddy, Mom, Dad, if your friends come to our house and they were from somewhere else, please take a bath first, okay? Okay, now this is something that I just want to tell. I won't go on details, but this is something that learned, that the invaders' impact of SARS-CoV that infects everything, that impacts the lungs, besides the lungs, the heart and blood vessels, the brain, eyes, nose, liver, kidneys, and intestines. So, well, of course, not just coronavirus, every sickness that can damage lots of parts of our body. But of course, by our immune system and what we eat and how we exercise and everything, it will make us feel better in no time. Now, the symptoms, we don't have to get confused, but I'm telling you here that the symptoms, like for at first they were, everybody was only saying fever, runny nose, coughing, sometimes only 3. But then somebody comes, I don't have any fever, I'm not having any cold, and I'm not having any cough. I mean, should I be afraid of not going out? Yes, because there are lots of other symptoms that we never know. That is why I have read in a journal that coronavirus, they call as a great imitator. They say it's a great imitator because sometimes we don't know, somebody having a diarrhea coming to the hospital, and then ta-da, it's COVID. So I mean, it's nothing that you have to be afraid of, but you surely have to be aware, okay? And follow the health protocol.
Yeah.
And here are some more symptoms: fever, cough, short of breath. Sometimes it's like we cannot take our breath deeply. Like we inhale is very easy, like, and then exhale. But then if we try to inhale, sometimes people with COVID at the first weeks, why am I not breathing very, very deep? Like I cannot breathe well. So it's shortness of breath. Or sore throat. It's starting to, I mean, it's feeling like sore throat. That's something that maybe you have to think about. And headache. Well, these 3 isn't in this one, right? So, I mean, it's always something that increases the symptoms that people find out. Okay? So this is, in this one, I have shaking chills. Shaking chills. So sometimes they don't have anything, but it's like at home I feel it's very sunny and hot outside, but you feel like shaking chills inside. Well, maybe, well, of course you don't have to think straightly to that. Well, lots of drinks, go outside to the sun and everything, but after all of that, if you still feel that way, then maybe you should think of that. Okay. Now, the fact I'm telling you this because I'm afraid you see from the social media that, hey, there's just, you know, you have to hold your breath 10 seconds. And if you don't have to cough and you don't feel discomfort, then you're not having the coronavirus. Is that true? No. So do not try that at home. Okay? You don't have to be like brave or anything and try to 10 seconds. No. That doesn't have any medical issues on that. So even the the WHO said that it could even be dangerous. So don't, okay, children? Now, we want to deal with it? Yes, we will, and we're not afraid, okay? So what do? Of course, prevention. You see this picture? So these are like, of course, if you cough, you don't do this, because if you do like this and then you touch something, then your hand will contaminate with other things. So when you cough, you do like this. Okay? Now, you use your mask like that. And then if you feel unwell, you go to the doctor. And if you sneeze like this, of course, look at this. This is something, the picture, we don't feel it like this. But when people see from a video that is made by very small millimeters, you could see that people sneezing, they sneeze this much, 40,000 droplets, okay? So you better watch out, and please, everywhere you go, just wear your mask. But at home, or if you're just alone walking with your mom and dad in the park, you don't have to use that all the time. It's okay. But if somebody goes near you, like walk past by you, then you use your mask again. Okay. Of course, this is, you all know, wash your hands. And please, children, if you wash your hands, don't just finish. You can't do that. 20 seconds. And you know how 20 seconds is? Tuk, tuk, tuk. That's 1 second. So 20 seconds is, you have to get used to 20 seconds, okay? Now you're at home, and now you can try and look at your watch, and you start your watch in 20 seconds. How long is that? So that is how long you need to kill the coronavirus with your soap, okay? Okay, of course. Now, do not just wash your hands if you see visibly dirty, but if it's not visibly dirty, you have to still frequently clean them, okay? And still, Dr. Vanessa say better using soap and water. But if you don't have at all, you can use your alcohol-based hand rub. Okay? And this is avoid close contact with anyone cold or flu-like symptoms. It's okay. You don't have to feel bad because you're saying, sorry, I can't be close to you now because you're having a cold. No, it's okay. They will understand. If they don't understand and they get angry, that means they're not a good friend. Okay? Now, thoroughly cook meat and eggs. Well, of course, your mommy and daddy already knows that, but by eating good food and having good nutrition, you will get a very good immune system, okay? And no unprotected contact with live, wild, or farm animals. Well, okay, this is something that I really don't know yet, because in some countries, like when I hear New Zealand, they have this beautiful place, like with animals and everything, but maybe they're not wild, yeah? So that's why they could just continue their work there. But maybe here is unprotected or wild life, yeah? Animals, so, okay? And avoid, okay, here's avoid spitting in the public, okay? Of course, we here, I believe we never spit in the public. Now, if you have fever, cough, and difficulty breathing, you have to immediately seek medical care, okay? Avoid crowded places. And I'm sure every student here are very bright, like the name of the school. very smart. Please avoid crowded places and tell other people too not to do this, because this is very quick in making other people infected. If you feel unwell, please stay at home. And if you feel still unwell until 3 days or so, call your doctor, okay? Now, sometimes people say, does the new coronavirus affect older people, or are younger people also susceptible? Yes. I'm not scaring you, kids. I'm not scaring you, not at all. But I know that you are very smart, and I'm asking you even to remind your parents that the elderly and you guys still have the susceptibility to get infected by this virus, just the same. Okay, so you still have to be very careful. But still, maybe parents not in the city area like you guys. I mean, parents in the urban, they don't really understand this. So they don't understand that little children can get coronavirus too. Maybe you can help educate them also. Okay. Now, how should I greet another person then? You like to, hey, bro, and like that. So never touch them again. Okay. So you just say safe greetings, like wave, hi, or like this, and or bow. Okay. So that's the best thing right now to do, so we don't have to do any contact. Now, there are some things that you can do in this pandemic. So I was really touched by the children that said that lots of them say that they're lonely and they feel bored. And of course, I feel the same way. I mean, I almost cried when I listened to you guys. You were being very honest. Actually, it's not just you, even me. Even me, already an adult. I mean, I feel lonely too sometimes. And sad because I can't go anywhere I want. I have to stay at home and do my work and everything. But still here, there are things that you have to keep others in prayers, okay? Every time you remember a name, you pray for them. And don't forget to contact them with your handphone, just to say hi, just to say hello and how are you, so they could feel that you're still connected. And if you have maybe time, or you have the financial, or to help other people that are vulnerable, you can do things, many things. You can donate your clothes, you can give your food, you can share your pictures and everything. And you can also give I mean, notes, and like Ibu Agung said, not just in the school, but you can go out and then you can share your stories and everything to other people. And please make sure that you get the right information, like you are giving information to us very precisely by making your presentation just now. And I know that's a very hard work because you did your research very good. So that's very great. Okay, and this will be my last slide. There are things that's if you see that circle inside, that white thing, it's the thing that I can control. Just say it to ourselves. But outside, there are things that I cannot control. So the things that we cannot control, just let go of this, because I know this will be frustrating. Like what? See if others follow the rules of social distancing or not, or what are the actions of others. Well, we can't control that. Can we predict what will happen? No, we cannot. So will this COVID be over? Well, of course, that's our prayer. but how long? We don't know. So we cannot control that. How long, how others will react and everything, that's very difficult. But you still can do something with your own heart, like this. I want a positive attitude, like all of you just did right now. You want to turn off the news that is not making you happy. You can find fun things to do at home. Like I heard Latang was really enjoying to be with his pets, and the other kids with their mommy and daddy, and doing lots of sunbathing and everything. That's cool. Okay. And the last is like doing your own kindness and grace. I think that is very lovely to do in this situation, and everybody could be happy by everything beautiful that you have done. So this is my last slide. Thank you. This is what I do every day at my hospital. Besides, of course, taking care of other people that are not COVID. But of course, taking care of people of COVID is just wonderful, just the same, seeing them getting better. And because of your help too, by staying at home, washing your hands, using your face mask and everything, and social distancing, not going to the crowd. Me personally, and as a medical doctor, I say thank you very much, children. Thank you, Cecilia. This is all.
Thank you so much, Dr. Vanessa, for another additional knowledge for us to be aware of how dangerous COVID is, but also in the bright side, how we can prevent COVID or we can heal COVID also.